I'll call this meeting in order of the Legislative Committee of Dunn County Board of Supervisors, Wednesday, January 11th, 2023, 3 p.m. in room 54, Dunn County Government Center. First order of business is call of the roll. Chris, could you take care of that for us? Thank you.
Let me try that over. Supervisor McCullough, Supervisor Steen, Supervisor Johnson, Supervisor Morehouse, Supervisor Rogers, Supervisor Kinnear, Supervisor Calabrese, and Supervisor Headland. And at this point, I believe that we are missing Supervisor Zons and Supervisor Quinn.
Thank you. I think we have a quorum,
We do.
so we can go ahead. The next order of business is the approval of the minutes from December 14th, 2022. I would entertain a motion to that effect.
I'll move approval, Mr. Chairman.
Supervisor Morehouse, Supervisor Rogers. Any discussion, corrections? Hearing none, all those in
Nope,
favor.
I have a correction, please.
Yeah, go ahead, Supervisor.
It's a very egotistical one, but my name is misspelled in the call of the roll there. It's C-A-L-A instead of C-A-L-E. I gotta impress my kids, you know.
Thank you, Mr. Calabrese. With our humble apologies, we'll approve the minutes as corrected. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same night. Motion carried. Next order of business is public comments. And are we aware of any public comments?
For the executive, this is later. Yep, that's correct. Okay, so next meeting. Got it? So that. What time? 3. 3:30. 3:30.
Terry, do you want it? Just sit there, sit there. We'll get you a mic.
Oh, yeah.
If we'd have known you were coming, we'd have baked the cake. We'd have had the mic for you there, but.
I like to come if I can. The mic's on. My name is Terry Nichols. My address is E9375 830th Avenue, Colfax, Wisconsin, 54730. I would like to thank Chair Steen and this committee for listening to me finally after all these years. And I'd like to thank each and every one of the members of the legislative committee. I adopted or internalized the directional planning process of Dunn County way back in March of 2016. And as the years passed, I didn't seem to think that maybe that was instilled in Dunn County representatives. And it's funny to look back now that I see that on the implementation on the bottom of your triangle, because one of your mission statements was to treat Dunn County residents as citizens and as customers and as empower. Now, empower is a very big word across all institutions or government institutions, because I consider this as one part of empowerment, because I heard it commented on past meetings that, well, you can't bring up every time somebody wants a referendum and they want to do this. And I'm hoping that each resident gets the attention of what they've done. This is what I've done. And that's one form of empowerment. I've based my research and studying the tech college system for almost 20 years. I did it objectively. I didn't do it subjectively like, well, I know this and I know that, and I talked. In most cases, I had documents from these institutions that proved my point. So and just one other comment is, since the redistricting, I have gained a new assembly person and a senator. And I can just say, because I think my idea is being looked at a lot deeper than it was with my other senator and representative. So again, and the only other thing that was stuck in my mind was Supervisor Rogers said he liked the apprenticeships part of it. And I totally agree. And to build on that, you're not just talking the tech college system of this state for apprenticeships. You've got the whole Department of Workforce Development. So they've even expanded the apprenticeships. But the point I'm trying to make is the tech college system has a lot of help from the Office of Skills Development and Department of Workforce. And as I just learned yesterday, as dual enrollment, which is another one of my causes for high school students to go to the tech college. Well, I went to the legislative, what's his name, Dan Schmidt. I think it's Led's Council. And he told me in an interim report, which I read, the monies allotted for this aren't even being used up. And of course, I asked him, well, where does it go when it's not used up? So there's monies out here setting. And the only way that we as citizens, whether it be a county or a state, can understand what's actually happening is by getting these reports. And I think what's going to happen, this is just me, what's going to happen this coming legislative session, I think it's going to be more about accountability and transparency at all levels, whether it be the county, the township, or the state. So again, I thank you for listening to me. And I haven't been addressed like this in the past almost 20 years, where the first time it went to the Wisconsin Counties Association, and that was back in 2011. And it went nowhere. And I've contacted the WCA 2 or 3 times the past 3 weeks. And I don't know if you're familiar with Dale Knapp at Forward Analytics. He's in my ballpark. But as with anything, there's politics no matter where you go. So again, thank you for listening to me. And I thank the clerk, Andrew, for putting up with all the documents I shot at him and getting them distributed. And that's my comments.
Well, Terry, thank you. That's very nice comment that you made. And actually, that's one of the reasons that this committee was formed, is so that we would have a better avenue for people to approach the board and to bring ideas or questions forward. And I hope that we've achieved that. And speaking for myself, and I'm pretty sure for the whole board, is that we're here to serve the people. I mean, that's who elects us, and that's why we're here. And anything that we can do to recognize that, I think we're all in favor of doing. So your kind comments are appreciated, and we'll try to live up to them. Next order of business is action to the county board from the legislative committee. 5A resolution revising the 2023 legislative agenda, technical colleges. And do we have to take action on that or not?
Yeah, this is coming directly from. Yes, because it's coming directly from this committee to the county board.
I would entertain a motion to accept that agenda, or add that agenda, revising the agenda. I'd accept the motion to that effect so it can be proceeded on to our county board next Wednesday.
So moved.
Supervisor McCullough moves. And Supervisor Calabrese, which I hope I pronounced it right. I can't spell it. Right, but I pronounced it right. Seconded the motion. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. The next order of business is 5B, discussion possible revision to 7A roads and highways legislative agenda item. This was brought to my attention by Supervisor Kinnear. Who would want to speak to this, and do we have any supporting documents to be handed out?
We do.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Supervisor Headland.
I guess part of this was my idea going back to when we had a discussion about the continuation of funding for our highway department. And as I guess my thoughts took us to the fact that we're hoping to go with more electric cars and buses and vans and whatever, and go to a greener outlay for vehicles, that less gasoline and diesel fuel are going to be burned. And that means less gas tax collected. And so consequently, we were going the wrong way in terms of being able to fund highways, being that that's based almost primarily on gas tax.
Thank you, Supervisor Headland. And I think also Supervisor Calabrese and Supervisor Kinnear have been do you want to speak? Supervisor Kinnear.
Thank you very much, Gary. Vaughn summarized it in about a short way you can say it, but and I got to thank Nick and everybody else that put this together. I offered some language at a very late hour and not realizing that it had to be so formal. But this came about when John Calabrese asked Sean Breslin a question after our last county board meeting. And he said, "Why did you vote this way?" And Sean explained why. And then Sean not only said, "I voted no because," he offered a solution. And I thought, well, geez, that's what we want. And he didn't know he could offer up that solution right there at the county board meeting, a new member and so forth. So even though it took me 2 meetings and the last minute, I thought this is worthwhile. And then Nick and Chris and Gary took care of it, put it together. So, and I have to also apologize, Mary, maybe to Dustin. I didn't talk with you about it. I had talked with Brian Johnson a little bit, but Nick did my work for me. So I appreciate you doing things at the last minute too. So thank you. It's nice to see that an individual member can come, even a new one can come and say, "Oh, got an idea." So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you both. My memory being connected to my age, I forgot. Do we have a motion on this yet or not? All right, I would entertain a motion to adopt this revision.
So moved.
Supervisor Johnson moves, Supervisor Headland seconds. Is there any discussion or explanation needed on what we're voting on here?
Just
Yep, go ahead.
thank you, Nick. I'd like to amend it just a little bit and consider not just EVs, but alternate fuels. Is that what?
Yeah, yes.
Because it's not going to be just EVs. It's already liquefied natural gas for trucks and it's going to change. So just to make it broader. Nick, how would that work?
Well,
Your
in B and C, I would just add reference to alternative fuels or use of alternative fuels or words to that effect, to include those as a explanatory background for why the particular support is being given.
Nick, would it be in order to ask the motion maker and motion seconder to include the change in language in their motion? Or should I have them take it back and make a new one?
I think it'd be fine as long as there's, as long as there's unanimous consent among the members. I think it would be fine.
So we have a motion and a second to vote on this with the added language that was fleshed out by Corp Counsel Lang. All those in favor, say, Supervisor Rogers.
Are you leaving the verbiage of electric vehicles and adding alternate fuels
Yes.
as well?
Yeah, in both B and C. It would just, use of alternative fuels would fit in there right after electronic vehicles.
So just for my clarification, so would you say use of electric vehicles and other alternative fuels?
Something like that.
Probably increase of use of electric vehicles, comma, alternative fuels, comma, and decreases in commuter miles.
Okay,
I will capture the spirit of Supervisor Kinnear's recommendation to me.
Just a thought, I was thinking if you put and or, would that be inclusive enough?
And is good enough.
Well, okay.
That sounds like the motion I made, so we're good to go.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson from way up there in Popple Creek. We appreciate that. All right. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. Thank you. Next order of business is, unless I'm missing something here, is number six, set the next meeting date, determine a 2023 meeting schedule. I guess I would open it up for discussion here, and I would ask the board here, do you like this current setup? Do you like meeting ahead of the executive board? And would you like to continue that way? And we can move in that direction if that's what you want. I would say that I don't know that we'll have actionable stuff every time, but we can still meet a half an hour ahead of the other board, and we can and that way it's always an avenue there that's available for anybody that has something to add. Does that make sense? Do we need a motion on that?
No.
Okay.
no, but so are you saying that you would like to schedule the legislative committee every month? That the executive committee meets for a half an hour beforehand, unless there's more content for a longer meeting?
Yes, that's what I'm saying, but what does the board, they agree with that, or what do they think?
That seems sensible to me. We've all got to be there anyway.
Yeah.
And we can always, if there's absolutely nothing to do, we can always cancel that portion of the meeting.
That's correct. So moving forward, that's what we're gonna do for 2023. We'll be meeting a half an hour before the executive committee monthly. And so I think it's worked pretty well so far, and the whole goal of this is to have an avenue for people, taxpayers and constituents to bring their ideas or concern to us, so they have an avenue to get it to the board. So, and having said that, number 7 is adjournment. Is anybody
Mr.
else?
Chairman?
Supervisor Johnson.
Yes, I just want to let everyone know I will not be attending meetings in the evening for quite a while. So I think it would be in order if someone else would speak on behalf of the highway that night. I think it would be good to have someone in person. I'll attend virtual, but I've got some things going on here at home, so I won't be able to attend in the evening meetings for a while.
Thank you, Supervisor Johnson. I guess,
You could have Vice Chair Prochnow or County Board Chair Kelly, or maybe even Dustin. I just think it would look better if someone was in person, so. That's
Probably,
Yeah,
probably the vice chair.
Pardon?
I said probably the vice chair. It would be
Okay.
the logical choice.
Thank you Supervisor Johnson, and that will be taken care of with the vice chair of the committee probably doing the presentation. Is there Supervisor Morehouse, did you have a question or?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have a question. Have we firmed up a date for our meeting with legislators? We had established a February 6th date preliminarily.
Yes, the invite went out.
Okay, all right, thank you very much.
Yep. Are there any other questions? Or concerns? Hearing none. Having completed our business, we are adjourned. Thank you all.
I got a kick out of how